The office sweetheart was slowly destroying us. I'm not antisocial. I don't live in a cave or hiss at sunlight. I go to work. I make coffee in shared break rooms. I smile when the barista says, "Have a nice day." I even nod along at parties when someone's talking about a show I've never watched. But I've learned to tell almost immediately who uses small talk like a knife. People say small talk is polite, harmless, a way to connect. But to me, it's the social equivalent of stuffing a dead rat in a gift box and tying it with ribbon. There's something performative about it. Something strategic. It's not what they say, it's the tone, the timing, the way they scan the room while asking, "So, how's your week been?" like they're already halfway out of the conversation. Take my old coworker Lindsay, for example. Perfect smile. Manicured fingers. Never swore, never raised her voice, always brought those chalky office cupcakes with the neon frosting. She remembered everyone's birthday. She complimented shoes, earrings, nail polish, always with that sugary, vacant tone like she'd been programmed to say it. People loved her. Lindsay's such a sweetheart. She makes this place feel warmer. She just gets people, you know? Yeah. I knew. I knew the way she leaned in to whisper just a little too easily. The way she always happened to hear something that someone probably didn't mean when they said it. The way she'd offer to help, then vanish when the work showed up. The way she'd tilt her head, eyes soft, and say things like, "No worries if not," when she was absolutely about to ruin your week. And it all started with small talk. That innocent Monday morning. "How was your weekend? Did you do anything fun? You look so rested." I used to answer. Smile back. Play alone. Thought it was just office culture. Until the week I got written up. Until the week everything turned. And it all began with one fake little conversation in the break room. It was a Monday. The kind that already feels like a punishment: gray skies, burnt toast, inbox full of little red numbers. I was microwaving oatmeal when Lindsay slid in beside me like a ghost in ballet flats, all smiles and sugary tone. "Hey you. How was your weekend?" She was wearing lavender, holding a mug that said, "Gratitude is my vibe," and smiling like she was paid by the tooth. I didn't feel like talking, but I answered anyway because that's what you're supposed to do. Not much. Slept a lot. Bailed on some stuff. Needed to reset, you know? She gave a little laugh, one of those breathy Ayu chuckles, and said, "Lucky. I wish I could be that chill about canceling plans. I feel so guilty every time I flake." I shrugged, half listening. Thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. The next day, my manager asked if we could have a quick sync. I walked in thinking it was about project deadlines. It wasn't. She pulled out her laptop and, I swear, tilted the screen toward me like she was about to show a PowerPoint titled "Why You're a Disappointment." "I just want to check in about your engagement lately. There's been some concern about how invested you are in team dynamics." I blinked. Concern from who? She didn't say. But I knew. Because then she said, "I heard you've been pulling back socially, even skipping out on outside meetups. That kind of distance can really impact morale." I was floored. Not because it was true, I had cancelled a few happy hours, but because I'd never imagined someone would weaponize my need to rest as evidence I was a problem. And suddenly I saw it all. That Monday morning chat in the break room? That wasn't just friendly banter. That was intel collection. I could practically hear Lindsay in my head, feigning concern while delivering her signature soft sabotage. "Oh, I'm sure it's nothing, but they said they skipped out on plans all weekend. Maybe they're burning out?" Just wanted to flag it. She didn't accuse. She suggested. She didn't gossip. She cared. And everyone bought it because Lindsay wrapped her poison in pastels and good vibes. After the meeting, I sat in the bathroom for 15 minutes, staring at my own reflection like it might give me an answer. I wasn't mad that someone talked behind my back. I was disgusted that it came dressed as kindness. That's the thing about small talk: when it's used by the wrong person, it's not communication. It's camouflage. I started keeping my answers short. No more friendly banter. No casual updates. I became a master of emotional minimalism: neutral tone, polite nod, a perfectly corporate "can't complain." My face turned into one of those masks from a Greek tragedy: pleasant, unreadable, safely blank. But Lindsay noticed. Of course she did. She pivoted immediately, up the smiles, up the compliments, up the little touches on the arm that felt more like a claim than a gesture. "You're so quiet lately. Everything okay? We miss your energy. You've got that mysterious vibe now, love that for you." It made my skin crawl. She kept popping up in ways that felt coincidental but weren't. At the printer. In the hallway. always just happening to pass by when I was on a call or deep in a task. And then I started hearing echoes from other people. Little comments that felt like shadows of conversations I hadn't been part of. Are you still thinking of switching departments? You didn't seem super into the last meeting, you alright? Lindsay mentioned you've been a little distant lately. It was like walking through a house where the furniture kept rearranging itself behind your back. And then came the quarterly feedback cycle. My review was technically solid, numbers looked good, deadlines met, but there was a vague cloud hanging over everything. My manager mentioned concerns about collaboration, visible team enthusiasm, and consistent emotional engagement. Translation? Lindsay's whispers had taken root. I wanted to scream, to lay out the whole timeline, to pull out a corkboard and connect the strings, the fake questions, the subtle flags, the way she never said anything directly but still left behind a breadcrumb trail of suspicion I couldn't erase. But that's the brilliance of people like her. They don't give you evidence. They give you vibe. And vibe doesn't show up in HR emails. The worst part? I started questioning myself. Maybe I was pulling back too much. Maybe I did sound uninterested sometimes. Maybe I should have gone to that birthday brunch for someone I barely knew just to prove I wasn't distant. That's how the rot spreads. Not loudly, quietly, inside out. Until you start gaslighting yourself just to make sense of someone else's manipulation. I knew what I had to do. I wasn't going to fight her in whispers. I was going to expose her in front of the one place she thought she owned, the office. I started slow. Compliments in passing. Warm eye contact. Casual nods in meetings. The same tools she used, only sharper, because I wasn't using them to manipulate. I was using them to watch. And she noticed. People like Lindsay can't resist when the person they're quietly gutting suddenly turns friendly. It makes them sloppy. It makes them greedy. Within a week, she started hovering again. Morning chats, unsolicited lunch invites, little whispers like we were co-conspirators. Can you believe Jason still doesn't know how to merge files? Bless him. Don't tell anyone, but I heard Kara supplying out, not surprised. She said things like that to me, assuming I was back on her leash. But I was recording everything. Not with a phone. That'd be illegal. But I documented every single comment, exact phrasing, timestamps, context in a running doc titled Kindness File. I copied passive-aggressive emails. Logged when she contradicted herself. Highlighted phrases like just wanted to check in about something I overheard. And then I waited. The company announced an internal promotion track. Department leads were watching. Feedback suddenly mattered more than ever. So I handed in my file. Not to HR. Not yet. To Kara. The one Lindsay had gossiped about quitting. Kara was sharp, respected, and best of all, had receipts of her own. Turns out I wasn't the only one Lindsay had sweetly sabotaged. She'd been playing this game for years, sowing doubt just enough to stay untouchable. People left quietly. Burned out slowly. Everyone thought it was just how things were. Until now. Within 2 weeks, 5 people came forward. Not with accusations. With evidence. Patterns. Quotes. A web of performative kindness that hid one of the most toxic, manipulative presences in the building. HR opened an internal culture investigation. And Lindsay? She cracked. The next time I saw her in the hallway, she looked like someone had drained all the glitter out of her. No pastels. No mug. Just a tight ponytail and the smile of someone who realized her charm had an expiration date. 3 days later, she was let go for unrelated reasons. Right. When she packed up her desk, I didn't say a word. But as she passed me, she gave this little nod, half challenge, half confession. Like she knew. And so did I. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is stop letting someone smile while they destroy people. Because the real disgust? It wasn't in her fake friendliness. It was in how many people called it normal.